Hello, friends. Bible study, the NIV, John, chapter 2. We're going to do through 1 through 12. I'm also going to make a second video that will cover 12 through 25. These are two of my, I like to talk about these parts in all of the Gospels when they talk about these particular stories. So, this one's title is Jesus Changes Water to Wine. On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Dear woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied, "My time has not yet come." Now, if you've watched the show Chosen, you know what you're talking about here. So think about that conversation. That means that the two of them have already previously discussed the fact that at some point he's going to need to make public who he is. And they're kind of already talking about the PR of it. So, and I feel like the actor in Chosen does a really good job of showing that. Like that interaction between those two actors, that I think they show that pretty well. They give you the more human context behind it. So I particularly like that show. His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." As if she's like, "Boy, what did I just say?" And then walks away like, you're going to, because it's the right thing to do. Don't let these people be embarrassed, right? And she knows he's always going to do the right thing. He has her same immaculate heart. So she understands her son better than anybody else ever could. Because that's basically like his best friend. Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washings, each holding 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they were filled to the brim. So these jars, they're used for different parts of different ceremonies, right? And some of those ceremonies, there's droplets of whatever was in there before. And also, let me just, because something just last night and stuff, so I'll come into that, okay? Then he told them, he said, "Fill the jars to the brim," so they filled them to the brim. Then they told them, "Now draw out some and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so, and the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it came from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called to the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." This, the first of his miraculous signs, Jesus performed at Cana in Galilee. He thus revealed his glory, and his disciples put their faith in him. Now, last night I've been doing Khan Academy, taking a biology class, which is actually really organic chemistry, is really what we're studying. Everything that is alive on this planet, so every plant, every human, every animal of any kind that is sentient in some fashion, plants they're alive. They respond to these different types of life, right? All of them have that double helix DNA swirl. And in that swirl, the way it makes that structure, the way it holds that structure when you're looking at organic chemistry, is everything that's alive on this planet only really contains 5 different types of elements in it. That's it. The outer strand, and it's sugar, The molecules that you have to come together to create sugar are in there. And it's just this very simple what needs to be created for sugar, because it's really just basically carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen to make sugar. And it's the sugar that's sticking everything together. Phosphate and sugar on the outside, and on the inside it's like nitrogen, because that's really what it is. It's carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, and phosphate. And that's everything that's alive or ever was alive. So that means that Jesus, in order to do this thing, is rearranging the molecules at a quantum level to turn it into something else, because it's still only the same elements. I always thought, because the way they show it, it was they had the wine. He was refilling it from the wine jug. So he was just expanding the wine molecules when he filled it with more water to make it more dense. Okay. No, it doesn't really matter. He could turn something into anything else that he wanted to, because he's rearranging the molecules. Because what the difference is where the molecules are sitting based upon because they don't actually stay in one place. They're always moving, whether they spin or they vibrate, or it doesn't matter what direction they're going in, because some of them do go linearly. That it's just a matter of where is it heavier. Where has it got a negative versus a positive? What else is near it that it's repelling it or drawing it to each other to make it stay in a structure? So it's really just, the fact that opposites, the positives and the negatives, are drawn to each other, right? So to make it glom on together. And that's about sharing electrons, which is the energy that's in everything. Because that's really what Creator is every bit of energy everywhere in the known or unknown universe. He doesn't have a corporeal being the way that we do. It's our soul that is a mirror of Him, and not our physical vessel. Or at least that's my belief system. So He's just rearranging these molecules because they're the same molecules. He could just be like in his brain spinning it. Think about that. Like when you're playing like with the Rubik's Cube and you've got to get all the colors together. That's what it would be like for him. That's and that's as much challenging as it is. Spin these elements until they come together in the right combination of positives and negatives, ones and zeros, until they make up this element that these beings say is wine. That's what he's doing. That's amazing to me. And it's probably exactly that simple to him.